Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're going to be talking about some temp generator solutions for your RV setup. So stick around and we'll talk through it. Alright, so I was doing some camping over the 4th of July weekend, and the Saturday of the weekend the park we were staying at blew a transformer. So the section of the park where our RV was parked was completely without power for multiple hours. It was 118 outside, nice hot summer day for you, and our battery and inverter system was about to die. Coach doesn't have a built-in generator, and it was getting toasty in the coach, and the fridge was going to start losing its cold pretty quick as well. So went down to the hardware store, Home Depot. Actually, this one came from Lowe's. Picked up this 8,000 watt gas generator made by Generac. So you would think, grab a generator, plug the coach in, boom, you're good to go. Not quite. Our coach is a 50 amp service, and these generators, the largest one I could find in that area was this 8,000 watt guy. The largest plug they offer on these 8,000 watt series generators is a 30 amp 240 volt plug. So obviously we have a 50 amp 240 volt plug on the RV. I had to make a little conversion wire in order to be able to use this with the RV, because the plugs don't actually exist. The 50 amp 1450 plug, there's nowhere to plug it in on these this size of generator, and like I said, this is the biggest one I could find. So I made a little whip that converts from a 30 amp twist lock to a 50 amp RV style 1450 plug, and that's what I'm going to show you here today, so that if you are ever in a pinch and gotta have power because it's really hot outside or whatever conditions you may have, need to run the airs, need to run the fridge, this is a hack that you can do to get your stuff back up and running while the power is out. Now, I intentionally said hack because we are basically taking a 30 amp plug and plugging a 50 amp coach into it, right? So we're going to be limiting the amount of power in the coach manually such that we do not exceed 30 amps. The smallest rating on this whole system is the 30 amp plug on the generator, and we're going to try to use as much of that as we can without going over it. Now, most newer coaches come with a power management system that tells you exactly, what you have on line 1, what's on line 2, what your total amp draw is, so on and so forth. You're going to want to monitor that when you get this all hooked up and plugged in, and just, understand that you're not going to be able to run the whole coach, right? This is for critical loads, air conditioners, refrigerators, lights, things like that. This whole video I'm making to, show someone how to do this if they needed to do it in a pinch. Please do this at your own risk. I'm very comfortable with making these types of electrical connections, but we are dealing with large voltage, large current, a generator that most people probably aren't comfortable with. So, do with this what you will. But again, I'm just trying to impart some knowledge so that other people that are in a similar position will be able to remedy that situation. So with that, I'll take you to the bench and I'll show you how to make up this little whip. So what I've got here are the components to make up that little conversion whip. Got some, this is 8 gauge wire. This is not Romex, but I used Romex out there. I would have preferred to use some SO cord, but Home Depot didn't have any, so I just used a Romex. For this, I just had this 8 gauge wire laying around in my garage, so I taped it up, to simulate a Romex or SO cord for this demonstration. This is a 3-wire plus ground, so you're going to have a black, a red, white, and a ground conductor. It may or may not be green. It might just be a bare conductor there. You need a cable throat that's going to go around this cable into this plug here. This plug is a NEMA 14-50R. This is for your 50 amp RVs. You see that configuration there. The ground pin, neutral pin, and your 2 hots. Behind the terminal there, you can see the actual connections for this guy. And then it comes with some additional hardware for mounting and keeping the cable in place. So that's going to be our RV side, and then our generator side is this L14-30P, which is a 30 amp 120/240 twist lock connector. So as mentioned previously, we are going with a 30 amp because that's what our generator has, to a 50 amp, which is what our RV has. And it's not going to give us a full output to this 50 amp plug, but it's going to at least allow us to run some of our stuff, the fridge, an air conditioner or two, while the power's out at the park. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is connect one end of this wire to this guy, other end of this wire to this guy, and then that's going to serve as our bridge between. So, let me see if I can get this to focus a little better. There we go. I think that's better. Just going to go ahead and strip. Well, actually, first thing we got to do is try to measure where the conductors are going to land inside of this plug. So the configuration of the RV side, or the 14-50, we've got 2, we'll call them gold terminals here and here. Those are for your 2 hots, the red and the black. And you've got a green terminal here for ground, and a white or silver terminal here for your neutral. And so we need our ground and neutral wire to be a little shorter than our 2 hots. Looks like our red side is about the right length. We'll cut the black to about the same length. And these guys need to get cut to about here. So now you can kind of see that's the configuration that those wires are going to be. A little more bend in the white and green, but going to land on those terminals there. Just like that. Okay, so go ahead and strip these. Okay, wires on that side stripped. And, okay, screwdriver. Let's go ahead and loosen these guys up here. You see these connectors in here, they kind of slot into themselves. These ones are a little messed up on this guy. There we go. So see how that now kind of lays flat in there instead of being allowed to move out like this. This guy can't jiggle anymore. So that's how those should actually look. They should all be flat in there. Little compartments there. Alright. And then we're going to take this guy, this little cable gland, I actually think this is the wrong size, but this is what I had in the garage. You're going to need, for this guy, you need a 3/4, and this is a 1/2 inch. Basically, you're going to send your cable through there, like that. And you want to tighten down these screws. And that's just going to keep tension, friction on the outside sheath of the cable. And then this little ring ultimately goes through this knockout that you pop your screwdriver in and bend out, right? This goes through here. And then if this fit properly, you put this ring over your wires and thread it back onto these threads here. This guy is just not quite the right size, so we'll skip that for now. But I think you guys get the idea. Okay. So put this over like that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start getting these conductors into their terminals. Just kind of try to line them all up here. Got them all in their spots, and now I'm just going to tighten these screws down. Okay, I'm going to make sure those are all nice and torqued. You see we've got red in a gold terminal, black in a gold terminal, green in the green terminal, or ground in the green terminal, and then our neutral in the silver terminal. Alright, now we can go ahead and install this cover over the top. And then one of these little screws holds the faceplate on. Just goes right in there. Okay, so that's the RV side. And normally this guy would be choked up a little bit more in here. Like that. So that's kind of what that should look like when it's done. Okay. Now I'm going to do basically the same thing on the other side. Go ahead and take these two screws out that hold the face on the plug. Okay, plug face comes off. You just have this housing. The housing has built-in strain relief. We added this guy for strain relief to this RV side plug because it didn't have it, but the cord cap comes with strain relief built on. So you're just going to go ahead and thread that over like that, let it ride back. And I'm going to go ahead and strip all of these guys. You don't need to strip as much on this side as we did on the RV plug side. The terminals are not as deep. So I would say about 3/8 of an inch of copper exposed is what you're looking for. There we go. Alright. So same configuration. There's a gold screw on one side, gold screw on the opposite side of that, here and here. There's a silver screw and a green screw. So green for ground, silver for neutral, gold and gold for hot. It doesn't matter which hot goes where. They're both the same potential, so it doesn't make a difference. Okay, this guy's got a Phillips. So I'm just going to loosen up these terminals. Oh, looks like they're already loose for me. Nice. Okay. So this here is my silver. Just kind of want to get your conductors pushed out into the formation they're going to go in, right? To this cross shape kind of. Okay, my thumb is on the silver terminal, so that's going to go down to the white or neutral. There we go. Just going to hold that in place and tighten these down so they don't pop out on me. And make sure your conductors are all the way into the terminals. We don't want anything jumping out on us once we plug it in and have power flowing through it. Last one, we'll do the red side here. Okay, then I just go back, do a torque check on all the terminals. Always. Okay, cool. Now we've got that done. This guy just slides right over. You line up these two holes in here, here and here, with the two screws on the front. And then go ahead and tighten down those screws, and they just have a really coarse thread, so they just take like maybe a half a turn. And then we're going to secure the grip on the back side here. And then you're done. Now, one other thing, just so we cover all the bases. This plug is rated for 120/240, so is this. That's what your 120/240 volts. That's what your 50 amp RV is. And obviously this L1430 needs to match up to your generator. Most of the larger kW size range generators appear to have the L1430 built onto it. So almost every single one of them. Some of the smaller ones will either have a 520 receptacle or a 530 receptacle, and so 5 designates the that it's single phase 120 volt rated only, and the 20 or 30 designates the amperage of that device. So if you have a 30 amp trailer, or I think it's a TT30P is the plug-in with the like kind of two angled blades and then one straight one. That is a 30 amp plug that runs on 120 volt. So you could buy a TT30 to plug your 30 amp RV into, and you could buy either a 520R or a 530R, preferably a 530 if your generator has that. That would give you a full 30 amps and you could run everything on your coach that you needed. If you got a 520R, you would need to, regulate your load just like we're doing here, going from 50 down to 30. You would need to go from 30 down to 20. And then if you were to connect those, basically the connections are identical, except there's one less hot wire. So you won't have a red wire in this jacket, basically. You're going to have 3 terminals on either side, a ground, a hot, and a neutral. Again, your hot is going to be the gold screw, your ground is going to be the green screw, and your neutral is going to be the silver screw. And it's the exact same setup as this. My RV, though, is a 50 amp unit, and so that's why I needed to make this particular configuration. If you guys want me to make a video showing how to make the 30 amp version of this for the smaller RV connection, let me know in the comments below, and I would be happy to do that for you. So I think that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. I'm planning on installing the actual generator for the coach, which is, I think, a 13,500 watt unit. That should allow us to use, almost the entire 50 amps, I believe, of the coach's power cable or supply in the near future. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everyone.